Hi everyone and welcome to my updated crossbow witch hunter guide. This is my starter in 0.3 and I had an absolute blast with this. So I just finished my first session last night. I went to level 79 and now I decided to update my planner that I've already shown in my previous video and just give you the full rundown of what I have discovered so far. So there were some changes in the build and I'm gonna walk you through this. But it was a pretty good time so far, so this is a very nice combination of both AoE clear and single target. I do have to mention that this is a relatively involved playstyle. You have 5 different ammunition types that I'm swapping. For clearing, it's mostly 2 of them, but they do go back and forth pretty often. And then on bosses, I use even more stuff basically to have like a bit more of a single target combo, especially for like the more dangerous fights where I want to stay at range. But overall, it has great damage output. This is an SSF character. I don't really have crazy gear or anything like that. And well, it's absolutely wrecking both AoE and a single target with ease, basically. I walked through the campaign, it was pretty chill from the start, and now I'm progressing towards red maps, basically, and I'm not in level 80 yet. Before we continue with the video, I want to give a shout out to today's sponsor, boot.dev. They've created a platform that makes it easier than ever to get into programming and polish your skills. They believe that the easiest way to learn code is to make sure that you're never bored, and this is why they have designed their courses to feel more like a game and less like a chore. The only way to really get into programming is to get your hands busy and write a ton of code, and this is exactly what the tasks allow you to do without ever feeling like you're getting stuck, because they have tons of tools to help you out. In these courses, you're going to learn backend programming from start to finish in the Python and Go languages. You will earn XP, levels, achievements, and you can even rank on the global leaderboard if you really want to be competitive. And if you ever feel like you're stuck and you can't progress, they have Boots, the powerful bear wizard AI that helps you understand the problem and guides you towards a solution. Compared to attending a university course, boot.dev is a way cheaper solution and allows you the flexibility of doing it all at your own pace and from home. They offer both a monthly and annual subscription, and you can cancel in the first 30 days, no questions asked. So if you really want to learn coding and that convinces you, then go check out boot.dev with the link in the description or the pinned comment below. And you get 25% off your first payment to boot.dev by clicking that link or using my code. And now, let's go back to the video. So the main combo that I have here is the permafrost bolts and the fragmentation rounds. So these are both level 1 skills on the crossbow, and you can get them basically from the start. So the way this works is that you freeze enemies with your permafrost bolts. These are, and I can kind of like auto shotgun these into the pack, or sometimes even into like multiple parts of the pack. So if there's like, you know, let's imagine like a whole range of enemies here all around me, I can do like one shot here, one shot there, and one shot here, and I can freeze enemies in different places. And when they are frozen, then you follow up with your fragmentation rounds and you explode them, because you have a big bonus burst AoE damage when you hit a frozen target with the fragmentation rounds. So you can see this here. Normally it has 82 attack damage times 10 if you hit with all fragments, but if you hit a frozen target, it goes to 1600. So this is more than double of hitting all projectiles normally, and then it converts everything to cold. But more importantly, it also gives you like a big AoE burst, and you don't have to hit with all of the pellets. So just a single one will trigger this big explosion, so you can actually do this also from pretty far away like this. So this is really cool, and this is how you get these big AoE pops. So basically, while clearing, I switch to permafrost, walk into a pack, do like 1 or 2 shots. It will almost always instantaneously freeze targets, even elites, even rare monsters, and then you follow up with the kaboom. Now for single target, the combo looks a bit different. So here we have the armor piercing bolts, then the high velocity rounds and the rapid shot. So this was kind of the main reason why I wanted to make this setup, which was the reworked high velocity rounds, where when you hit an armor broken target, it will apply the high velocity debuff, which gives you 5% of the damage done by high velocity rounds for any follow-up shot that you hit on a target. And so you want to have like, you know, one big kapow with the high velocity rounds and then a lot of small hits that trigger this over and over. So the idea is you break the armor. This is usually done in like a few shots. But in late game, like everything just, you know, it hits like for 1000 armor break. Plus I have some bonuses here. Most enemies have somewhere in the range of like 3 to 10k armor or so. So it's literally sometimes 2 shots and you break the armor. So you do this, high velocity, maybe 1 or 2 times until you get like a nice hit. And then you do a rapid shot and you can just machine gun them down. You can only do this a limited amount of time because of the heat mechanic. So then it goes on cooldown, and then you have to maybe switch back to armor break, which also is pretty fast, or you just go back to shooting them with the fragmentation rounds, which is also pretty solid single target if you can stay close and shotgun them. I also have a bunch of other skills here. So there's Warbanner now. This is something that I have thrown in there. Previously I was experimenting a bit with some other stuff. I used to have Explosive Grenade, which was very good for the early game. So I used that in like Act 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. But at some point I just went full crossbow and left out the grenades. So that was really cool that I actually managed to do this. And then I was looking for another skill to replace here. I tried Mortar Cannon. That didn't work too well for me. The totem is just not really dying when you're like not investing into them. And it didn't really seem very impactful either. So instead I have Warbanner as my last like preservation skill here. But my first one was Herald of Ash, and then Overwhelming Presence. This makes it easier to freeze and stun. And then this was the last one. And finally, here's Emergency Reload. So this is a pretty cool skill that reloads all of your ammunition now. So this was buffed. And then it's also a damage buff until you have used up the clips that you just reloaded with that, or for like a limited amount of time. So you see this here when I press my buttons. So they're all reloaded now, but when I press emergency reload, then they also glow in yellow. So you see here, this means that they're empowered. So you can also use this as a burst, especially on the boss or some rares. You can do like the armor break, the high velocity, you do the rapid fire, and then like all of them just do a lot more damage. And you can combine this, for example, with the Warbanner to have like an even bigger burst. So you go to something like, double the DPS or something like that if you combine both the banner and the empowered shots. So that's roughly how the build works. And here's the planner as well. So this is a Maxwell planner I have here. You can find this in the community planners or with the link down in the description. So I'm just going to walk you through this. I already explained basically most of the skills here. I do have all of the supports listed in order of what to add. One important one is the double barrel on the fragmentation rounds. So this is actually something you get very early. You definitely want to go get that as soon as possible. Then, as I mentioned, Explosive Grenade kind of helps you in the early game. You definitely want to get that and get a multi-shot on this. And then maybe in Magnified Area. This is like some of those higher priority ones. And for Permafrost bolts, you basically just want to make sure that you can freeze with this a lot. So I have the freeze support. I have the Ice Bite here. That gives you a nice damage boost after you freeze something. So this just helps you to one-shot those packs easily with the fragmentation follow-up. It even buffs all of your other skills as well when you freeze them, so that's kind of cool. And then here's a big one, the streamlined rounds. So this allows you to get +5 bolts loaded, and it actually has the advantage, I would say, that it deals less damage. So you can kind of like more min-max the amount of shots that you fire into a pack in order to freeze targets, because it would actually happen sometimes I would have too much damage with this and accidentally kill a target. But with this doesn't really happen. So this is actually really good. And it shoots faster, so you can really just like, tap 1, 2, 3 times, depending on how fast stuff gets frozen, and then switch back to the frag rounds and go kaboom. Yeah, and then I also have, for example, some other AoE clear stuff here later on, but it doesn't really matter much. I tried Fork, I tried Gamble Shot, I tried Chain. So you can kind of go with whatever you feel like, I think, but I went with Gamble Shot in the end because it's like a pretty good mix of everything. So these are like your highest priority supports to get, and then all the others is just kind of you filling it up as you go. So for example, when you get your first Jeweler's Orbs, you want to try to put this on the frag rounds, on the permafrost, and then probably on the high velocity. So there's like 1, 2, 3, and then kind of the rest, and also like the other supports here. So as you get them, you just kind of like fill them up, mostly with just some more damage choices. But you want to focus mostly on the frag and the permafrost. I also have some more notes down here, so about the skill rotation. So you have this at a glance, for example. A few notes here that you can refer to as well. I will be keeping this updated as I go. So this is not a complete build yet. I'm only level 79. I want to go to like 95 plus of this or something at least. Kill off the endgame bosses and so on. So we'll see how this will go and what I will discover. But for now, I got this here. This is also like roughly my Atlas tree. I mostly just went essences and pack size. Pack size in general is really cool, because we are playing a Witch Hunter, and well, the Ascent Seal is here. So the main thing about the Witch Hunter is the explosion here right now, I think. Especially in this league with all of the undead guys coming out from the abysses, and also you have breaches with demons and all that. Basically everything that matters has undead or demons, and it's actually the outdated version, so this now has 15% chance, and then it's doubled, so you have 30% against many enemy types, and you get these big pops. So even if you don't necessarily hit a target with your fragmentation rounds in a pack, or sometimes you don't necessarily want to ammo swap, you just shoot into a pack, and then, you know, one of them explodes and the entire pack goes boom. So this is really cool about this. And then the second thing it shows here is the culling strike. Not very impactful, but it does help. But most importantly, decimating strike later is the big one here. So this kind of takes off percentage HP from the start of the fight. And then together with this here, you kind of like very easily take down a lot of targets. And I do plan to go for the 100 weapon set points here, but I have not done the Uber lab yet, so we'll see. This was actually the main reason why I started the Witch Hunter instead of something else, but I currently don't have a right plan for this yet. So there will probably be some update here on the tree as well, with what I will do with those 100 points. I am thinking about some ideas, but I will see what I will come up with. But maybe if this doesn't work out, then I might take out the decimate and this, and then actually go for the concentration break. At least you can get this 40% more damage done here against enemies based on the missing concentration. So you can kind of just like execute them even faster, basically. So it's going to be helpful in especially late game boss fights. And yeah, in general, this gives you a bit more DPS against the big guys. So this is another option. The sorcerer reward, I'm not going for that because this build is actually going for full evasion plus deflection. So you see here I path quite far over to the ranger area. I try to pick up a lot of evasion stuff, a lot of deflection stuff. I really wanted to try to make this work. Currently my character is sitting at 44 evasion and 50% deflect. So this is still not perfect, but we also have like a relatively low end gear currently. And it seems like we are on our way to the 100%. So I will see how this goes. This was just kind of like interesting to try. Also, if you're looking at this tree, you can also see the progression. So you can you can click on these nodes here as well to see, or you can just mouse over and then highlight, okay, which ones are taken in what order. So you can see this here. So you kind of like know where to go. But it's relatively simple. So we path down from the mercenary. We pick up a bunch of the extra damage here with 200 weapons and projectile stuff. Then we path down to the crossbow nodes. They're very powerful. They give you like extra reloads as well. And here's like this big node with the ammunition type swapping. So especially on bosses, when you use like 5 different ammunition types, there's like a massive buff here. And then we basically path over here up to pick up all the damage we can with some attack stuff and day stuff here. And then it's like evasion and deflect stacking. I've also added more endgame rare items here so they get a bit of an idea of what to look for. So we mostly go for the high evasion bases everywhere. We want to obviously fix our res, so make sure they have resistance everywhere. Since we path so much, I don't think we have any need for any like attributes on our gear, maybe on one piece or something like that, but we mostly need like, I don't know, maybe 150-ish or so dexterity to wear like all of the high-end stuff here, and then maybe like around 100 or so strength. Actually, the attribute requirements are a little bit lower these days, so it might be even less than that. So realistically, it's basically just put res and then rarity as your suffixes for the most part, and also there is a mod here that is not in the planner right now, which is the deflect mod. So this is, for example, what I have here on the boots, the last mod, gain deflection rating equal to a % of your evasion rating. So you want to try to stack this on all of your armor pieces as well, so that you get this 100% deflect at some point. And then for the prefixes, it's mostly life and then physical damage, for example, on your rings, if you can get that, or like here can be more rarity, extra proj skill ranks. And the weapon should be just like a super high fist damage, maybe some skill ranks, maybe some attack speed, and this is about it. So that's it for my updated guide so far. I'll be blasting this non-stop. I'm streaming like all day, every day right now, so come stop by if you have questions, if you want to play this build and see how it evolves, or if you need anything basically. Otherwise, I hope you have a good league start. I had a blast so far in 0.3. This is definitely not the only character I'll be making, so stay tuned for that. Like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.